Hello, this is Loose Talk. I'll be doing my video for software development year 12 on the long-term project which I made a calendar at. I'm supposed to do this in one video, but I think it would be better to split it across 4 videos for each 4 different sections. So this first video section is on the programming features and yes, the processing features. So I'll go over each of these processing features and discuss the meaning behind them. And then the second video, part 2, will be on internal documentation and code. The third video will be on validation, and the fourth video will be on the designs and the forms and how they changed from the original and over time through the creation process. Of course, some of these videos will interlink, some of them share the same properties. What validation is, of course, I'm going to mention that briefly in the coding section, which I'll also briefly mention the coding section and the validation in the processing features. But this video would be very long if I had to mention them, all 4 of those components in one section here, so I decided to split them up. So first is the processing features. I'll go over each one of these that I have written into the boxes and then discuss their importance in my code or the purpose. So there's 3 pages of these processing features, but or two and a little bit, but these are not all the processing features, mainly just the larger scale ones, not the more important ones, not the minor ones. So you want to have ones where it's like, oh, once form 2 loads, form 1 is hidden, or stuff like that, because they're too minuscule to consider it. These are the main processing features here, the ones that took time and effort and knowledge to program here. So the first one is the previous month button. First I'll show you the code actually. Here's the all the code and that, but I'll show you that more later. But here's the form design, and I will discuss. As you can see, it's a calendar. Yeah, you can change it, whatnot. That's what it looks like when it's loaded, but that's what it looks like when it's not loaded. As you see, it's pretty bare. So I'll get into that later. But first and foremost is the previous month button, which is just this here. This button here, I can click and it shows the months that's come before it. When this automatically opens to the month we're in, so we are in June today. So of course you can look at the previous month, and that's how that works. Of course, it's very important. I'd consider it a functional requirement, just because it's kind of necessary for the program to function. Yeah, because viewing previous months is important. I think every calendar app has it or should have it. Now, the next processing or programming feature is the next month button, which is just the same thing except you can go forward. So you can go forward. As you can see, you can just keep going forever. So yeah, this shows that what this changes is these panels. As you see, they change numbers, the order changes, and the amount changes. So it's 30 here because it's June of 2026. We have 30 days, starts on Monday, ends on Tuesday. So I click one forward, then we got 31 days, and it starts on Wednesday, because of course the previous month ended on Tuesday. And of course it changes the year date up here, year date up here, and the month date up here. So I can click this, go to August, September, and 2026, and if I keep going past December, this should change to 2027. Yes, and you can keep going with this forever, basically. So, next button, or programming feature, is the Today button, which, when you press, so, if you're scrolling for a while here, like I say, I got an appointment all the way in 2026 for whatever reason, and I want to put that in the 8th here. Now I need to go back to the month we are currently in, as kind of like as a checkpoint. That's where it should be, is where we currently are. So we click this, and it'll bring us all the way back to June of 2024. That's very vital. It's probably, I wrote it as functional, but it probably should be non-functional, as it's ultimately it's not really required. The other ones are required to book future appointments, so it's kind of necessary for the thing, but this is probably, I'd actually describe this as non-functional, not functional, because this is more just a usability. It's more ease of use than anything. Okay, so today's date is message box. So if I close this program and come in, start it up again, we actually get a message box saying today is today's date, which is the 30th of July, which is a bit late for this video to come out and for the code to be uploaded. But I've been a bit sick after formal, so I got so I'm a bit late here, but that's how it is. So I apologize for that, but I'm doing it now. I'm working pretty hard, so to get this all done, I should get it done by probably 3 in the morning. Probably before then. So I've been, I haven't been lazy or not doing anything. I'm still working pretty hard to get it done. I've just been unable to even move these past couple of days. So anyway, there's there's that. So so that's the today's date is message box. It's kind of non-functional, not really needed. It's just added for detail, like the box says. So the month title label. This is what I showed you before a little bit on what changes when I press next month or previous month. As you can see, it's just this. And I'll double up here and show you that, yes, the year changes. And this is infinite because I use date time instead of just using text boxes or label.txt and it changing to a set amount. I just use date time so it can be infinite, which is something new I had to learn. So I'll talk to that more in the code video, but that's probably important I mention it now. So just now here. Next is the year title. I went over that. The import notes and export notes. So this is something I will also mention more in my form video on designs. But I made it there's a little notes here. It's just here for a little extra detail. I wanted it because it looks a bit better, more appealing. Because when I did it when creating the designs, I originally didn't even have that. I just had the regular calendar, and it didn't really look right. It didn't look that good, so I just had this. It looks a lot more visually appealing, and you never know what it's for, so you can just write notes like this. You've got scroll bars, so if you ever go beyond this, you can scroll down, and you can actually import notes. So if I delete this, and I press this, it opens my file system, and let's just click on an old one I used as a test, AAA here, and I go open. It inputs all this text that was originally in the text file as well. And now I can actually add to this as well and go, let's just add 2 9s for an example and go export notes and then go file name. I just do it as AAA and then override, yes, replace this one. And then if I go to my files here and go documents and go AAA notepad, it should have the 999 in there, or the 999. So there you go. That's yeah, 999. That's right. So yeah, you can actually edit text files like this. It's not really necessary, so it's a non-functional requirement, but it's just there for a little extra detail, a little extra feature. Because why not? You can actually so you can import and export notes here. Require different code as well. You'd think they'd be very similar, but it took a while to figure out how to export. I kind of was inspired by the the sack at the start of the year. Part 4 of it was about importing and exporting notes. So I kind of knew how to do it, but I needed some validation in case it was named left blank. So I talked about that in my validation video, but yeah, that was the issue I came across anyway. So panels as a flow layout. Now we're getting into the more complicated stuff. Like I said before, in the design, this is what it looks like, alright? None of these, if I get side by side, none of these panels appear which represent different days, alright? So I have to manually kind of like code it in instead of put it in as a design. So that took a long time because it was something I'm not used to, something I haven't really done before. Just do this quickly. So that was an issue I came across. Not that one. So it took a long time to do. It's definitely functional for a requirement. So look at it. Took a long time. So this is panels. So this was the panels as flow layer panel is the kind of process of creating these individual boxes or blocks or panels, and they represent each day, obviously. And let me talk about the next one is the generation of them, which involves the creation of these. So the panels as flow layout panel is the process of basically dimensioning this or defining it as a flow layout panel, which is just a panel which contains other things, other elements. It's pretty complicated, hard to explain. I had to watch a lot of videos to kind of wrap my head around it. Took a long time to do. The next part is generate day blocks, which is involved with these panels, or day blocks as I called them. I don't know why I didn't keep them the same name. Probably should have done that. But as you can see, they needed to be created, so I dimensioned it, which is this one, and then I create the generate day blocks is what generates these day blocks or panels or whatever you want to call them, and it involves also the size of them. It wasn't just generating of the day panels, but it's generating it in the correct size, the correct color. So it's actually black background, and with its black background, basically, is what I mean by color, and its correct, and how many blocks there are actually. Because there could be less, but you needed the right amount to have the certain amount of days, obviously. Because there's obviously some days have more. If this block only went up to here, you wouldn't portray the full month, I guess you'd say. Next is another complicated thing, is the day number labels, which also took even longer. So the day number labels are these numbers. As you can see, when I press a new month, they change position. So getting that right and accurate was a massive challenge to overcome. And these are all individual labels, so to generate them and kind of do a counter, it took a long time to kind of get going correctly and to ensure that it's correct every time. So that is the labels. That's of course a functional requirement, or else, because if they didn't exist, these number systems, how would you know what day is which? These represent each day, so date. So if I go to August of 20, I'll just do say this month actually. So if I go to this one, course, how would you know that June starts on a Saturday and ends on a Sunday? As you can see on this calendar, it shows that. So I need to also show that on this one. Well, not also, because I didn't make this calendar, but I needed to show it on my one, because as you wouldn't know, I had numbered 2 days. So these are adding the numbers to the flow layer panels, which are the box as discussed before. So I needed to add each number and it increase in order and have it accurate, which is involved with that. Well, the day number labels, I'm mentioning it as a label. This is more the process of creating it. Next is the color code, which is a non-functional requirement, but it's a very important non-functional requirement as it is involved with clarity and usability. So as you notice, one of these days is not like the other. This one is blue or aqua. It's technically aqua, but I'll just call it blue for now because it's easier. So as you can see, this is all white and these are all blue. If I go next month, all white, go back blue. And this changes every day. So tomorrow will be the 1st of July, so this one will be blue and this one will go back to white. So that's important. It basically highlights the current day. So yeah, that's just for clarity, so it's kind of obvious what the current day is. And yeah, that's important. And it was pretty hard to do because if I look at the code here in Form 1, I originally had it as, let's go down the labels, as general equals day today. So if that basically means if it's today, then the color code would be, if the date is the same as on the calendar, the number is the date, then it would be aqua. Well, the others are white. This was actually, didn't really work out because it would, if I went to July, it would also be blue on the 30th. So I needed to add this color code system to make sure it was only for the current month. So when I press this button, it would automatically change to white, which overrides that. Because if I press this button, the 30th of July, it still says blue, but I've got the code cover here, which overrides that and changes it back to white. So that's the code color system. What's next? The first day of the week. So it's better if I show the code on this one, and I'll mention total days with this as well because they kind of go hand in hand. So as you can see, here you go. First day of the, no, that's first day, yeah. Oh no, yeah. So these are all first day of the week and total days. Here, these are these functions, and it's involved in finding out what the first day of the week is, or of the month actually. I don't know why I call it first day of the week, but it's involved in finding out the first day. Oh no, because it's the first day of the month, and then it's the first day of that, like the date. Like if it's on a Wednesday, so say if a month starts on Wednesday, then I need it to calculate and automatically start on Wednesday. That's what it is for. And then the total days is obviously how many days are in the month, because some months are 30, some are 31, some are 29, and so on. So that's why that's functional as well. Of course, this code wouldn't be correct if it wasn't for these two. Next is add new task. Okay, it is a functional requirement. At the start of the video, I said I wouldn't, like, that's all that is it opens this when the buttons click the add new thing to task here. At the start of the video, I said I wouldn't include minuscule or minor processes like that, but or tiny details like that, but I must have forgotten because I've got it there. I'll delete that later. Next is the database. Okay, so we're getting into very complicated sections here. So this kind of goes, hand in hand with the save button and confirm here. So I'll mention all three of them at once. So if I go to the code and go to module, I think it's module, is it? No, this is form 2. No, the database. Sorry, is it the database? Yeah, the database is module. So this is a module which basically affects everywhere. That's what that means, instead of a Windows form which only affects the form. Okay, so I need to explain this whole code, but the database here is we define this as a connection to this. This is a file location here. So, and that location is this access. Okay, well, I haven't opened it. But I think it's this one. Because I know I had troubles with this, so I needed to try it multiple times. Yeah. Alright, so it's this one, which is basically it's just an order of code. You can go down, and keep going down. As you can see, I've had a test here, which worked successfully at the time. So what this basically does is create a bi-directional link to it. So when you add a task to the calendar on the Visual Studio Code, it will add it to the access form as well. It would add it to the list. And if you add something to the list on this access form or this database, then it will also add it to the panels here, I guess you could say. So this took a long time, and it's currently got a little bit of issues, which I'll mention in the code. I'll mention in the validation video, actually. So yeah, that was a issue I had to overcome there. That was a bit challenging, but this is what this does, is basically makes a connection. This link, it sets it as a link here, and it connects it. Oops. Anyway, where is what's the next thing again? Confirm. Okay, so this is also involved with this database here. So it's basically, if I show you here, this is more involved with form 2 here, but if I could add new appointment to calendar, then I go, let's just save this as is, then it says, do you wish to save? That's all that is. So yeah. Yeah, that's happening here. I'm getting unknown errors sometimes. I was trying to mitigate that, but sometimes the connection doesn't really work. So if I go save, an unknown error has occurred. What is that unknown error? I don't know. So if I go down to, I'll mention this more in the validation video, and I'll talk about the errors and what didn't really work and I couldn't get to work in the code video. But I think it's in form 2. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll mention that in the code video, actually. Anyway, so that's what it was, though. It's that question box appearing, that message box appearing with the buttons saying, do you confirm, do you want to add this to the calendar? And then you can press no or yes and click. Another data table, I don't think I've included because that's kind of involved with the database more. Yeah, save button. So what's save button? Save button is that, is that, I think that's form 2 actually. Yeah, so save button is here, and yeah, so this is just what happens when we click save. We use tries and to basically just add it to the calendar. That's it. Oops, that's the wrong one. So there you go. That's all the main processing features. Here, I think that's all I really have to say. This video's been going on long enough. The other one shouldn't be as long, except probably the code video, because that'll take a while. But the validation video and the modification of designs won't be as long. Alright, goodbye.